Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, can you believe anything you see on the internet anymore? Like, we're reaching a point where I swear somebody will go to jail over AI generated video, and they might serve some time before we actually pull them out of the fire. So, to give you an idea of what's going on, yesterday I saw this video from Charlie's channel. This is completely fake. Now, I don't really follow a lot of the Diddy stuff. I made one video on it, but generally speaking, I leave that to people that have like full-on interest to follow the day-by-days of the case, which, you know, for me, Charlie's kind of the person that follows it. And he showed in his video that there was actual fakery being spread around about this serious, human trafficking case, right? So inside his video, he showcased one YouTube channel called What Is My Star Worth? Now, What Is My Star Worth, if you look very carefully, is an AI-generated video channel, okay? So they've got an AI-generated Mike Tyson. And of course, if you go over here, they've got the content on this channel, as a disclaimer, by the way, may contain gossip-based information, rumors, or exaggerated portrayals. Which, bro, for a case involving human trafficking, a very serious crime, Diddy's case is a very, very serious case with very serious implications. Probably shouldn't be like treating it with the same level of what is 50 Cent's net worth, okay? But now if you go to the videos over here, you might be like, Muda, who's watching AI slop? Everyone, dude. Like, if you look at it very carefully, a lot of these channels, a lot of these videos, like 1 minute ago, Usher breaks down in court. 1 day ago, 3.4 million views, okay? This thing is absolutely gone viral, okay? You know, if you go around 1 minute ago, Diddy's role in Michael Jackson's death finally revealed. 6 hours ago, already 167,000 views. I mean, people are watching this stuff. And maybe not every video bangs, but generally speaking, the ones that do spread the biggest level of misinformation. So the video in question was this one that is just shy of 1 million views. 1 minute ago, Prince's secret recording just shattered Diddy's trial. Now, if you're somebody who's sitting and vegging out on your couch and you're like, I want to learn about Diddy, you might think of, ooh, look at that. Diddy looks scared. AI-generated Diddy looks scared. You've got Prince. You've got Prince and Diddy next to each other. Now, again, this is how good AI-generated thumbnails have gotten. It used to be these were pretty obvious, but AI-generated photos, you know, we've come a long fucking way. Now, if you click onto this shit real quickly over here, it's just AI-generated video.
The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial.
Did you get that, audience? Did you get that? It's literally AI generated narration, okay? So of course, the further you go down over here, you'll see that people who are watching this actually do believe it. Like, for instance, this guy goes, now Prince's death should be thoroughly investigated. What's done in the dark shall come to light. I'm sorry. Prince died the same year as this recording. The fact that he was threatened by Diddy and Prince said it should be released indicates he had foresight of what could happen. Many deaths can be attributed to Diddy's orchestration. Oh boy. Oh man. Now you might be like, whoa, did anybody like fact check this? Doesn't really appear that people were fact checking anything, for instance. So if you go to like Diddy Prince, right? It used to be like a couple days ago, you would have articles like, are there rumors that this recording was true? And then, of course, you know, you would start to get a day later, oh, the fact check. It wasn't actually true whatsoever. So it kind of sucks when, like, a video comes out really ahead of time. And like, you know, you're just like, whoa, this is a bombshell drop. And then, like, 24 hours later, the truth actually reveals. It's one of the reasons why when, like, the Steam hack had happened, right? Like, it took me, you know, a bit of time to, like, you know, look through the crafts of the deep web and like pull out what was real and what wasn't. And the reality of it is like, you know, to cancel misinformation, you have to put in like a serious effort of fact checking. Even then you're not really reaching everyone, right? Some people just believe whatever it is they want to believe. But yeah, we live in a world where anything can basically be stated and people just fucking believe it. So for instance, the rumor that was brought up was the 7-time Grammy winning recording artist Final Days Alive. Prince divulged details of Combs' alleged illicit activities at past parties. If something happens to me, this recording needs to go to the press or the police. Either one. But of course, you know, people who are not researching or fact-checking anything don't usually go through searching Bing, DuckDuckGo, Google, Yahoo, Ecostra, whatever search engine you want to fucking use. and they don't find any news media outlet that is credibly reporting this. Sometimes it's just circularly reported and amongst misinformation spreaders, and people will just not look too far into it, right? It's to a point that like people who actually are on the ground, people who actually know about the stuff, like Inner City Press, for instance, actually have to go, no, there's like no Prince audio played in this trial last week. There's YouTube channels talking about it, but literally claims are false. So yeah, it's super easy to spread misinformation now, but it's super difficult, I would say, to properly clean it up. Now, why are we talking about this Diddy stuff? Well, we're talking about it because it involves AI-generated video and audio. And look, you know, back in the day when I was younger, one of these ads, back when I was younger, this ad played on my television. You know, it was an ad about like a kitty cat, you know, and then like a house hippo. So, you know, as a kid, you're looking at it, you're like, whoa, are there real house hippos in Canada and the northern US? No, there is no such thing as a house hippo. That is a 3D generated, you know, hippo. And of course, you know, the further you look down into it, I don't even think that's a 3D generated hippo, to be honest. It could just be green screen. But yeah, it would tell you like, hey, listen, don't believe everything you see on TV, right? Like it would be like, hey, we have to make sure these kids can critically think. I really feel like they need to update this ad for like internet stuff. Like, don't believe every single image or video or video or anything you see on the internet, okay? Right now, you literally cannot believe anything. And so yesterday, in amongst all of this, I saw something that blew my mind, which was Google's new VO3. So Google says, say goodbye to the silent era of video generation. They have native audio generation now. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, right? Will Smith eating spaghetti happened probably, I want to say around 2 years ago, right? Like 2 years ago, we actually had, you know, the Will Smith stuff. So this is what it used to look like. AI would generate a bunch of images and string them together. And sure, it's easy to laugh at this, but 2 years later, what I'm about to show you is mind-blowing.
This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might. And she commands your awe with every breaking light.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is completely AI-generated video. Now, obviously, you can look at his face and see, it's probably some AI-generated stuff to it. It's got a little bit of that sheen to it, that 3D design. But you look at the actual sea in the background, it looks pretty realistic. You can see the, you know, fingers, and you can see him holding his pipe. It looks pretty goddamn good. And yeah, what's mind-blowing is the audio was generated alongside the video, and the lips matched all of the audio pretty directly. Now, I want to remind you, you know, looking earlier into what, you know, we saw with the whole like Charlie video, imagine if now we're sitting in a day where wait like a year and an extra 2 years from now, this will get even better. VO4, VO5, VO6 may even drop. And we're going to get to a point where, you know, somebody can generate these videos and probably present them in a court of law. And might even be able to like fool fucking judges or like experts. You know, we're getting to a point where people who know the inners of these things are already thinking, is this real? Is this AI? Like if we're having issues identifying it, the average person, like my dad, will probably look at this and be like, damn, they're making a movie about being lost at sea? That's sick. They might be like, whoa, you got to have some real access to this. No, it's actually available right now to people who are Google AI Ultra subscribers. Now, Google AI Ultra, for instance, is not a cheap endeavor, by the way. It's available right now in the United States for $249.99 per month. So yeah, it's not a cheap endeavor. So if you go to Gemini, you can pay and get access to this and basically start generating these videos. Now, I think AI is kind of cool in a lot of ways where you can just search for stuff if you wanted, right? Like, for instance, I can say, can you find me AI-generated open-world games? And it'll just find you AI-generated or really procedurally generated open-world games. And one of them it links you to is obviously Copilot. Now, we've looked at this, you know, in the past, but, you know, we've gotten to a point where Microsoft has basically created a version of Quake 2's first level and allowed you, the user, to play it on your computer through AI. So there's no game code running. It's just the AI has been trained on so many videos of Quake that it just believes, you know, it can hallucinate the next frame based off of all its training data. Now on the screen, I literally was able to kill an enemy just by jumping in the air. In fact, I'm pretty sure if I look straight up, turn around like this, freak out the world. And again, this is the problem with artificial intelligence, right? Like object permanence becomes an issue. But yes, we are at a point where we're spending an insane amount of money and time and effort into basically creating these video games that, you know, we could have just like used far less resources, like in this case, far less to play Quake 2. You know, it's not like this software is to a point where, hey, could you generate me new maps with new enemy placements? That is where the fault of this AI is going to come. In fact, let me tell you right now from a programming perspective, these things fail the moment it has to deal with like a hidden variable, right? Like imagine if you told it to like, hey, generate me AI generated persona. You know how many background things happen in Persona, like background variables, like probably 10, 20 things that the game has to keep track of? But if you're working with just video and trying to hallucinate the next frame, good luck working with that. I'm just giving you a basic limitation of this AI. And again, anybody that I ask about it will just never give me the real answer. Now, AI has been doing such a good job with generating shit that you can probably load up IDEs now that you can just tell it what you want to make. Like, hey, make me a clicker game where I deal dope, and it will just go through the whole process of making a video game for it. We call it vibe coding. I tend to just call it, you know, autopilot. Like let the computer fucking do everything for you. Not a really great way to teach, and definitely leaves you open to a lot of security issues. But when you go back to the AI generated video, one of the things that I always have seen was this Mario Kart stuff. And again, you can see that the text is having an issue. But by taking hours upon hours of footage of Mario Kart on the Wii, I imagine, it is able to generate a version of what it thinks Mario Kart looks like. And this might pass as some background footage for like, I don't know, some TV show where it's not in the focus. But yeah, clearly this is obviously bullshit. But I think it's still impressive that an AI is able to try to hallucinate the next step of frames just off of the training data that it's worked off of. It's not able to do anything unique, but it's able to generate what it needs to. But now, according to Google, this flow that they've made alongside VO3 is this AI filmmaking tool. So it's kind of built in a way that like Google and a lot of these companies want to make it look like it's really positive. Like, hey, filmmakers, what if instead of, you know, trying to get a lady with a lava lamp basically, you know, surgically inside her, you can feed us prompts and we can just make those AI generated videos for you. Think about how great that is from the era of like, you know, filmmaking. Like you can tell whatever story it is that you want. And I think ultimately, when you look at how they generated the stuff, I'm sure the training data probably was trained off of not totally ethical sources, which is a real problem for a lot of these companies. But I would imagine, you know, the reason why Google is so far ahead of the pack is because of how they have access to YouTube. Like imagine just having access to the biggest data bank of user and professionally uploaded, like, you know, data. There's full movies on YouTube alongside AI generated, or not AI generated, but like actual, you know, proper user content. So Google just has this massive repository to work with, train off of, and that's why I think they're so far ahead of the competition.
Oh, I think that would be marvelous.
Yes, it is very fun. But
yes, it is very good.
It's very fun.
I can talk.
Yes.
We can talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can.
Like if you just like edited this out a little, if you like touched it up just a little bit more, somebody could probably think and be like, yeah, this is just like real actual like footage. Like the fact that lips are working together now, we are long past the shitty spaghetti eating days. Like it's getting to a point where like this is actually mind-blowingly good. One of the things that I saw that blew me away personally was somebody who made like an ad inside this.
Run AI with an API. Use replicate.
So basically, instead of hiring a advertising team to film a guy running outside in a park and saying those dialogues, you could pay Google $250 a month and just generate that within like a fraction of the time. From the time it takes to probably go here and take a dump, the AI will have generated this and you'll just have basically what you want to send over. I mean, that is the insane world we're sitting at. But I'm looking at this from a really cautionary perspective because what happens when bad people get their hands on it, right? So I've kind of talked about a little bit about local AI as well. And one of the interesting things that I saw was this thing called Zonos. Now, Zonos is a open weight text-to-speech model. So basically, you can, if you wanting to, run this on your actual system. So if you have a Mac system or a modern Linux system, especially one with a hard drive, or not hard drive, but like a reasonably fast GPU, I think 3000 series or above, you can run these commands and get this thing running on your system. Now, when you get Zonos running on your system, if you have a 4090, you can basically run this entire model with a factor of ×2, meaning that you can generate 2 seconds of audio per 1 second of compute time. So what I mean by this is, let's say that somebody wants to talk to you, right? You want to have like a conversation. You can text to speech with them. And, basically you can pretend to be a human being and say whatever you want. So just imagine all the time those scammers call you over from the other side of the world, and they call you, and instead of hearing like the thickest accent imaginable and laughing and turning off your phone, somebody could pretend to be like a, Western speaker, speak into your actual ear, and you might be confused. You might be like, whoa, is this actually somebody from the IRS? Is this actually somebody from here? Is it somebody that can actually ruin my life? The amount of scams that can happen with easy to use AI like this is insane. And the thing is with local AI, now not Veo. Veo is obviously still locked behind, using it on like Google's most expensive server compute branches. But with stuff we've seen like DeepSeek, for instance, in amongst other AIs that can be downloaded onto your system and run locally, the problem is there's also people who are using these things to take off the guardrails. Now, typically, a lot of AI will say, hey, if you ask me to make AI-generated video of like a murder taking place or some crime occurring, it won't do that for ethical, reasons. But when you take the guardrails away, anybody can use that AI model to generate whatever it is that they want, which makes me wonder, to tie it to the beginning of this video, you could get anybody to do something illegal, and if it looks good enough, I'm wondering how the courts and the legal system will actually end up handling it. So, for instance, one of the things that I wanted to kind of look at a little bit and talk about a little bit was this thing called AI CSAM images. Now, according to the Internet Watch Foundation, unfortunately, 3,500 new AI-generated CSAM images were uploaded to one dark web forum. And that's just one forum out there. We're not even talking about the whole litany of places you can go to the dark web for illegal stuff. Now, this is really concerning because, again, when you have open models that you can now freely download, and I believe I was reading executives wanted to limit the progress of AI, you can't take the genie out of the bottle and put it back in, okay? For instance, now that, people are working on this internationally, especially some of the biggest players in the world are just releasing their models out there, people can download them, people can modify them, take away the guardrails. And when you take away the ethical restrictions of AI, you're now entering a world where people are generating, scary video, scary audio, scary images, images that can implicate people wrongfully, images that can be used for illegal things, like deepfakes, for instance. And, you have laws like the Take It Down Act, which are just starting to pass in the United States. People are just starting to slowly catch up. But again, the legal system, the government is usually, I would say, several steps behind, in my opinion, any of these technological advances. I mean, in just 2 years, we went from Will Smith, sloppily eating spaghetti to, again, Google creating some of the most insanely good shit. I mean, the current state of eating spaghetti, which might as well be the hello world for this shit, is right here. I mean, unless you're looking very carefully at the spaghetti and it melding together, you might just look at this as an old man eating his food, all right? You might just believe this. And especially when you add in the audio attached to it as well, that's even the bigger, that's the thing that just adds more legitimacy to all of this stuff anyways. I mean, just the fact that the video and audio matches up this good already, and again, what I'm saying is a year or two from now, those YouTube channels that are spreading misinformation or whatever, anywhere on social media, it's about to get a lot worse. You really are unable to ever believe anything on the internet. And I'm actually wondering if down the road, we're going to be talking about somebody who wrongfully goes to jail because evidence was planted where AI was used to implicate them in something that they never actually did. It's one of the reasons why talking about things like UFOs or anything, wild and goofy on the internet is just a little more annoying because usually you're just dealing with, is this AI or is this even real anymore? Is the video that I'm seeing even actually real? Is the audio that I'm hearing actually even real on the internet? Like, I've said it before, but like, we're at a point where unless you see things with your own eyes and you hear things with your own two ears, you literally cannot believe anything on the internet anymore. And I think like all this misinformation and fact checking and like all of these articles that are popping up out of nowhere, you know, bringing up the most like salacious shit, like the Prince Diddy stuff, it's about to get way, way fucking worse. And I feel like the moment these models like VO3 start to enter the open source world where people can run them on local home devices, you're about to see this shit blow up to an exponential degree that will never be controlled in time. You know, for all the good stuff that I've seen AI do, and there is good stuff, like medical research can be really improved with AI. You know, people researching things can be done better with AI, I would say. It's like having a buddy with you. I would think that even for generative audio and video, like there's some cool stuff. And generally when people give consent, like what happened with Fortnite and Darth Vader, that could be pretty cool stuff. But I generally think like 80 to like probably 80 to like 85% of the shit that I've seen regarding generative video and AI and everything is usually the precursor, or if not, the actual like negative part of AI usage in general. But yeah, that's all I really want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. It is insane. Shit is really wild. And I urge you guys, if you don't do your research already, you better goddamn start researching every single thing you look at, because nothing is true anymore. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.